Welcome to Long Story Long. I'm your host, Lisa Curry. Today's guest is the hilarious national touring comedian Corey Ryan Forrester. You have seen him on MTV. He's all over the place. He's got a book and a podcast. If you don't already know him, you're going to love him. This was a great conversation. Here you go. Corey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for being here. You just recorded your podcast right before
I did,
this?
yeah. Me and the boys, the Well-Read podcast, me and Trey and Drew.
Nice. How's it going?
Good. We're ready to get back on the road and maybe do a podcast that's not on Zoom, even though I guess we've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember how the world used to work before all this, like before Zooming and
Yeah.
nobody talking to each other. But yeah, we were just chatting about the tour and leaving the house and being scared but hopeful and yada yada, all that good stuff.
That's great. I love it. I'm very excited to get back out myself. So when you guys go on the road for the podcast, do you also do your separate, do you do like a separate stand-up?
Yeah, so
show,
the podcast was started because we were doing a stand-up tour, and the podcast now is pretty much just like, oh, we have a stand-up tour, so we may as well record a thing while we're here. That was we didn't really know shit about podcasts 5 years ago. I mean, we knew they existed, but we were just redneck dum-dums, and we were on tour, and we did Bert Kreischer's the Bertcast, and he was like, he goes, what's y'all's podcast called? And we were like, oh, we don't have one. And he goes, oh, you got to have a podcast. We're like, really? You think so? And he's like, no, I think it's like legally you have to have one. Like, you're a comedian. So like, yeah. And so we just started one, and it's pretty, it supports the tour. So yeah, we're going back on the road to do stand up, and then usually after shows are in the green room, we have our equipment there, and they tend to be better shows because we actually have like energy and we're juiced up and all that stuff.
That's the best when you're able to like tap into that feeling and go with it.
Yeah, it's the best. We haven't had that in so long.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's nice also, like, I mean, I just started this podcast this year. It's nice to see like how far you reach across the world just bullshitting with friends,
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. I remember when we started, like, it took us so long to realize, like, hey, people actually listen to this, because we would just say things that we just assume, like, yeah, I mean, whatever, we can say whatever we want because nobody's going to hear it, and we would just be trashing people, and then like like a week later we get a text like, hey man, Jesus, I can't believe you said that. I was like, oh God, I was just talking about our old open mic days. My bad. You heard that? Yeah, everyone did. You put it out on the internet, and you said my full name. Like, oh God.
It is really easy to get sucked into like, feeling like you're just having this private conversation.
Yeah.
Because I've actually withheld a couple that I've recorded because my friends have said things that I'm like, I don't want you to. I don't need you to get yourself into trouble, so I'm just not going to put this one out,
Yeah, we've done that too.
Yeah. So I want to take it back a little bit. You're from Georgia?
Yeah,
right?
From Georgia. Unfortunately, I'm from Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, District 14.
Oh, no.
Ground zero, yeah.
I can't imagine having that woman represent me in any way.
It's miserable.
Congress.
It's miserable.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. That's...
Yeah. What are you going to do aside from vote?
Yeah, I guess. Unless you, want to go into government yourself, which, for me, that's a hard no thanks.
No, I do not. I've had people, once they realized that that's where I was from, man, because I made the decision to, all right, because I kept seeing all her bull crap, and I was like, man, you're the only one that can actually speak from here, so you got to say something, whether it's just like, hey, just let you know everyone here is not that insane, or hey, I'm here and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And of course, I've had so many people tell me, you need to run, and I'm like, golly, if you need any, if you need to know how crazy this lady is, just understand who they're telling would be a better representative. Like, I've been naked on the internet before, and I will be again, but I have no desire to do that. It's not even desire. I keep telling myself, I'm not qualified to do this. And they're like, well, neither is she. And I'm like, well, let's not do that. Let's not play that game where we're just like, you're not good enough to do it, but you're better than her. Like, that's how we keep getting in these situations.
Absolutely.
And I also feel like I can just be so much more helpful on doing what I do, because the second they're like, we love you because you just kind of say wild stuff and you say everything that's on our mind unfiltered. And I'm like, right. And as soon as I'm running for office, I can't do that no more. And then you'll hate me. And then you'll just realize that I'm an uneducated dumbass. And then I don't win. And they dig up all this stupid crap that I did when I was 17. And now I don't have a comedy career to go back to. And I damn sure ain't going to be in politics. So sure, let's ruin my life just because everything sucks.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. It's like when, also that reminds me of when, after Trump got elected, so many people on our side
of course
suggested that, since we had a celebrity president, our next president should also be a celebrity, but Oprah. And I'm like, guys, this is not the solution. Please stop.
Of course not. Of course. Yeah. Like that's something that makes me so upset when people are like, can you believe what they did? All right, we should do that,
I know. It's like, we'll show them. I'm like, no, please. Because we're all, everyone in the middle that's not a politician is the one that's getting the blowback from it. And it's like, it's not fair. Please stop this.
And they keep saying, they're like, well, that reason Trump won is because he was this charismatic non-politician. And I'm like, I understand. Look, I don't like career politicians as much as the next guy, but I kind of do want my elected officials to be boring. I don't want them to have pizzazz and have flair. You know what I mean?
At the very least, I wouldn't want them to be, their mind to be blown by an episode of Schoolhouse Rock. I want them to understand how government functions.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're still in Georgia now, right?
Yeah.
Are you still in your same hometown?
I am, yeah.
Do you love it?
No. Well, okay. Yeah. Here's the deal. Okay. So nobody could have seen this pandemic coming, right? So I bought this house that I'm currently in 2 years ago, right before the pandemic. And my reasoning was I've always been someone who was when I was growing up, I was definitely I'm not going to live in my hometown. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see the world. I'm going to live somewhere different, yada, yada, yada. And then I lived in New York for a very brief time. But then as soon as I moved home, we started touring. And our tour was crazy because we were we were touring 40, 45 weeks a year. And I did like that, and then I started thinking, I don't want to live in my hometown. And then I started thinking, you kind of don't though. You live on the road. Yeah. You only are in your hometown when you go to repack your bags. And in that situation, if I'm going to be someone who is constantly touring, I actually don't mind having a place in my hometown because that's the amount of time that I could be I'm going to see my folks. I'm going to see
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's great. I was I don't mind if I'm going to be someone who lives on the road, I'll have my house here because it doesn't matter where I live if I'm constantly touring. And why pay LA prices and New York prices when I can get a great place where I live? Well, as soon as I had that epiphany, the pandemic happened and I had to spend a year and a half in my hometown, which I will say, it was so easy for me to follow the rules because I stay in your house because I was I want to. I don't want to go out there and see because I've made too many videos besmirching some of these individuals and they will stab me at the food line and I'm not trying to do that. So, but realistically, it's been fine. I mean, for the most part, there's some people, the people that I grew up with that have decided that they hate me just don't look at me. And I do have some buddies who, they're not necessarily Trump Republicans now. They're certainly not Marjorie Taylor Greene Republicans who we disagree on some, we disagree on some things, but they genuinely are still proud of me. Even if they hate all my politics, they're I mean, look at him though. He's on TV. Look at that. Ain't that wild? So
yeah, that's great.
It's not really that. It's not that bad. I mean, I'm so close to Chattanooga. That's where I hang out most of the time anyways.
Oh, yeah. That's really not bad at all. I just spent the last 6 months mostly in rural Indiana, but I was close to Bloomington. It was nice. I mean, I again, didn't venture out very much.
And people think that every aspect of someone's life that lives in rural Georgia or rural Indiana is exactly what they see in a 45-second clip on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Those crazy, absolutely. Sometimes there is a lady in a tank top screaming racial slurs inside of a Walgreens. Absolutely. But that don't happen every time you go in Walgreens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
you can just sometimes you go through your whole day and nothing insane happens. I'd say most of the time that happens. But, I still get the optics of it.
There's way crazier stuff going on in LA, for sure.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course there is. Of course.
But people are but it's expensive here, so it must be high class crazy or something. And it's it's not. It's just expensive crazy. That's it.
Exactly. And I love it out there, for the record. I love it in LA, but LA's a very much like when I need to be there, I'll get a hotel. I'll pass through.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you knew, I usually ask, but I know. You knew you wanted to be a comedian since you were a kid.
Yeah, like 5.
That's so crazy to me that you were like, that's a thing I can do, and that's a job I can have. What gave you that idea?
It's really weird, and I know that what you're saying is correct because I've talked to so many people about it now, but when I was doing stand-up and then I would meet people, like when I met Trey and he was like, I think Trey decided, in like high school or something like that, but I heard some people, they're like, I didn't think about it till college, or like, I'd already been out of college working, I thought I'll give this a shot, and I'm like, word? You didn't just like eat at you every day since you were 5, and that blew my mind. Like I always thought like that was just the experience. You were either born to do it or you weren't. I romanticized that whole thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just, I just watched stand up with my dad as a kid. And I just was every time I didn't get in trouble a lot in elementary school, because in elementary school I was like a book nerd. Like all I wanted to do was read and write and stuff like that. But the only time I would ever get in trouble was for doing like very, very loud Jim Carrey impressions. That like I would constantly get in trouble, but the teachers weren't really mad at me because they're like, well, he hit anybody. He was just, Ace Ventura came out and he had to let everybody know what the first scene was, But I don't know. I knew I wanted to do it when I was watching stand-ups with my dad, but I didn't really know what you did or how that was even a thing. I didn't even know that if you could, until I saw Jeff Foxworthy, I genuinely didn't think that people from where I was from were allowed to do it. I thought only people from New York and LA were allowed to do it, because every time on Carson or Leno, they would be like, from the Comedy Cellar in New York, or from the Laugh Factory in LA, and I was like, oh well, I guess that's where they're from, But I just got laughs in school, and it was just one of those like chasing that. I didn't realize that I was chasing the dragon every day, but that's definitely what that was. Like, oh wow, people have given me attention for something that like I fell down, but I turned it into a positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that so much. Is this something like your parents nourished, or were they like, and I ask because like I come from a very blue collar family, as I'm assuming you do as well.
Yeah.
And like it was never, it could not even be considered in my family that somebody would go into the arts. It was like, you're either an iron worker or you're a nurse, and those are your two options. So
yes,
here you go.
Everybody up until both my mom and my mom and my dad were both the two first people in both their respective families to go to college. My mom was a nurse, and my dad went on a baseball scholarship to UTC, and then he got into marketing. And so yes, they actually did. They did. Nourish it. They're like, hey, you can do that. If that's something you're into. Because my dad, his whole thing was always like, and he still does it now. Like, Dad will have a couple beers, and he's like, I swear, if I could do it all again, I wouldn't have even had you kids. I would have just gone to Oxford, Mississippi, and wrote. I just sat there and drank 4 Roses whiskey and stared at the sky and wrote. And so Dad was always like, I think he was like, yes, son, if you have dreams, you should do that. And they definitely always nourished it. Now, when I got older, and it looked like it wasn't going to work out, they definitely were like, hey, so maybe also though go to college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can probably do both. And I was just like, no, I can't do. And in hindsight, I really, really wish that I'd gone to college, if only for the like, I think I would have had more material. I would have met more interesting people. But like they definitely, again, they never at one point were just like, you shouldn't do this. This is stupid. But you could tell that it went from when I started stand up at 16, and I think they were just like, what's it going to hurt? And then like fast forward to me being 26, like, really, really struggling, don't have no money, I'm upset all the time, and it's just beating the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I think they were concerned, but like, and at the time, I think I probably was like, they just don't want me to live my dream. But like looking back, I can like relive these moments.
Yeah,
like, no, you idiot! They wanted you to live their dream. You're just their baby boy, and they were worried about you. And that was a insane thing for them to be watching you do. Like you were not happy. You clearly were not happy, and things weren't working out. And your parents just want things to work out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I feel like most 26-year-olds should be broke and
for sure.
At least a little unhappy for character building. I might have a chip on my shoulder, so who knows? But when you started stand-up at 16, where did you go up?
The Comedy Catch in Chattanooga, Tennessee, open mics and stuff like that. And the thing is like, it's not like, you know, I kind of almost don't like even count my first 4 to 5 years of stand-up for anything other than like, you know, inarguably you get your stage presence gets better. Yeah, but my stage presence got really, really good, but I had nothing to talk about. Like from 16 to 21, like nothing really. I mean, stuff does happen, but I don't know, man. Like it was a bunch of my wiener this, pot that, you know. But again, the material.
That's a lot of stuff I'm still seeing in clubs is like my wiener this, pot that.
For sure, for sure. And I will say this, like by the time I'm like, I think at like 24, 25, all of a sudden I really had some stuff to say, but I had the stage presence of someone who was 10 years in, you know what I mean? So I think, so if someone was just starting out at 25, I'm light years ahead of them. Even we might have the same ideas that we're talking about, but I at least like on the surface know how to be a comedian. But like when you're starting out at 16 too, and in a pretty rural area where there's like, Chattanooga's the big city, but it's really not, you're not going up every night. You're going up like, at best once a week at first, and sometimes it was once every 2 weeks because like they wouldn't just have the open mic every week. It took me to like getting to where I was like MC status to where like, okay, now you're going up 5 times a week, sometimes 7 times if there's an open mic, and then I really started to blossom. But yeah, it's like those first 5 years, like God, I just look back on that and I'm like, what did you think? Like, what were you even talking about?
I mean, I think everyone feels that way about their first at least couple of years. But I can't imagine. Sometimes I feel regretful that I didn't start sooner. And then I'm like, what the fuck was I going to say when I was 19
what were you gonna say?
Or 20?
Like I said, you would have like,
you know?
I think you like getting stage presence is like an invaluable thing. And like, you know, once you could have as much to say, you could have brilliant things to say, but if you don't know how to say them, nobody's going to care. So like, if you spend 7 years saying stupid things, you still will learn how to hold the mic and put the stand behind you, and you'll learn how to pace, and you'll learn the timing and stuff like that. So like I said, by the time I finally had something to say, I was like, I know how to do this.
Yeah. So
it was just eating shit for so long.
You said it was like really tough like, at the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
When you were like 26, what happened that like, did you have like expectations you weren't meeting, or?
Yeah, I just didn't have a plan. I didn't realize that I didn't have a plan. Like in my brain, it was just like you go, and if you're good, you'll be famous, or you'll get, you know, someone will. And now looking back, it's like, what network executive did you think was going to be at the Amigos Mexican restaurant in Hickson, Tennessee, watching you do 15 minutes? Like, like, how would that have ever happened? And especially because, like, when I started, YouTube had only just become a thing. Like, you were just now starting to be able to put your stuff out there yourself. But when I started, that was not really a thing. And I also got groomed by,
God, by the way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, seriously, thank God. Seriously, thank God. But like, I was also groomed by like the dudes that I looked up to and that I hung out with were like, you know, these 55-year-old road dogs, and they were just telling me, they're like, the internet's stupid, podcasts are stupid, what you need to do is da-da-da, and just the worst advice ever. But that is how it worked for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that's not how it really worked anymore. So I was just frustrated and drunk as shit and didn't really know. And in my brain, though, I had just like conceded the fact of like, you know what? To do real art, you're not supposed to make money. You're supposed to be broke. And it's not me who doesn't know shit. It is the rest of the world who doesn't know shit.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So wait, at 26, you're still in Georgia at this point?
Oh, yeah. I'm still in Georgia. I'm still just doing the southern circuit as it was. And the club owner where I was at was always just like, always telling me, he's like, first off, you need to you need to not do as much political stuff. You need to not cuss as much. And you need to basically describing every single thing that has made me popular today. But he wasn't wrong. Like if I had have played more by the rules, I probably would have found earlier success. But it just took me. I was always so like, I don't give a fuck if that's true. I didn't get into this to follow some mold of what the comedy club dude wants me to be. I got into this to do exactly what I want all the time.
Yeah,
and if that takes me a little bit longer in order to make it, then that's fine. Now, I said that, but then it got to where I'm like, God, I'm 28. I'm getting close to like, maybe I need to try some of this clean shit. Like, I don't know. And then I got very, 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 very lucky. If you're listening to this, please don't take the advice of my career, because I got super lucky after all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do think, like, I mean, for the most part, I think advice like that is very well intentioned, but it's also like,
he did love me. He wanted me to succeed.
Like, yeah, and it's like but that takes you down like a really specific path, you know. I don't know. I know as my material has gotten more political myself, and it has always been like socio-political, and now it's more so, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do some of the rooms I used to do. But then I'm like, I think it's also pushing me towards more of the things that I want and the things that I like. And I think that that's what's really cool about like just being true to yourself as you have been, because it just pushes you in the direction of more things you like, you know?
Well, doing those rooms too, that they were like, they were conservative rooms, but I was doing what I wanted to do. I was making different points, but like I found out how to make those points I found out how to talk to a conservative room about things they didn't agree with, but make them laugh and not make them kick my ass.
Yeah, that's great.
And that was like, that's a skill I still use to this day. Like, I because I grew up in those rooms, I'm like, okay, no matter the situation, you know how to still be funny and have the people there not really like what you say. You can, like, it's possible to do it. Because, like, I never, like, you know, there were some tough biker dudes there that could kick my ass, but I really want to get this gay rights joke out. It better be good. You know what I mean? It better be real, real good. So, like, you know, growing up in that, and his whole thing to me was just like, hey, you're going up there and you're just getting right up to the line. And I'm like, I know, but I feel alive. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I believe, and I can tell them that, and they still laugh. It's great.
Yeah, it's such a rush to be able to get people when you're like, I don't know how they're going to feel about this, but here we go.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it just like, it was such a skill to have. Of like, I don't know if it's like negotiating skills. Like you're like, I can talk anyone down off of anything right now. I'm a genius.
Oh, yeah. We're for sure genius. If nothing else.
If nothing else, just an unabashed genius.
Wait, so did you start going on the road right away then? I mean, were you like 20 going? Okay.
Well, like on the road, when I, like a couple years in, I would do like random VFW clubs that were like within a couple, that were within like a couple hours drive. If you want to count that as the road. Yeah. I don't. But like, yeah, I mean, I would go with like, you know, within a couple years I was doing that solo, and then I would get like some of the comedians that came through the Comedy Catch, like my buddy Big Ed Kaler, cousin Ricky Pearden, the Tennessee Tramp, Janet Williams. They would every now and then, if they had a gig in Johnson City or something, they would just be like, let's take the kid, you know, let's see if he can stretch his 15 into 20. So it was like that. Like, I'm not really, there was no tour, but it was just like every now and then. It certainly felt like I was on the road. And I told all my buddies that I was on the road and I was a road comic and yada, yada, yada. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And it's funny because, like, I really believed it. Like, I was like, this is what it is. Like, you're in a hotel. You got a hotel. You're making $50. You know, like, you got a free beer. This is living right here.
Oh, yeah. There is also, I felt similarly when I started comedy to you just thinking, like, you can't make any money.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much money people made.
I know,
like,
right?
The first time I heard what Jerry Seinfeld made, I think I blacked out for like 2 weeks. I was like, what? Not that we're all on the path to become Jerry Seinfeld, but it's like,
sure.
I think to me also, like, my family are all iron workers. So I'm like, you should be paid a lot of money for that. You're building skyscrapers. And then like to get paid more to write jokes feels ridiculous. I'm like, this should be illegal. I mean, like, I'm happy for it.
Of course, me too. And I mean, you know, granted, somebody's got it. Like, you can't just write a joke and go turn it into the Joke Authority and they give you, you know, $700. Like that joke. You know, like you've got to be really reaching people to start making money.
Corey, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just turning it into the Joke Authority. So
you send me your login for the Joke Authority? I didn't know that was a thing.
You can make a profile.
But yeah, like, no, I agree with you. Like, there's a lot of people who are criminally underpaid out there for what they do. But I will say, like, I can defend it a little bit in some situations where it's like, right, but at least your job had a clearly defined path as to how to get there and make that money. Like, comedy is such a crapshoot. Like, you can make $1 billion like Jerry Seinfeld, but you can also make nothing. You can be working as hard as Jerry Seinfeld, make no money, and not have any health insurance. So like that, like I've always felt like, you know, like when people are like, "Oh, Kevin Hart makes all this money," I'm like, right, but I think it's money. It's making up for all those years that he didn't make shit and didn't have and wasn't in a union. So it's like, hey, let him have it. He rolled the dice, man. Like, that's how it works. Yeah. You're never going to hit the 777s if you don't go up there and crank that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you got to, like, again, it is like, when you look at stuff like that, it's like, God, they get paid that and teachers get paid. Like, I agree with you. Teachers are very underpaid. But the teacher knew if they went to college for 4 years, they could go out and get that. There's no comedy college.
And they have a pension and they have like built-in time off. And it's
all a crapshoot. And to me, that was always like the thing that was the least attractive about it to my parents, which was there's no guarantees, was the most attractive to me, because I'm like, there's no ceiling either. There's no, like, you don't ever cap out, like, and never in my life. And like, I love that. Now, you know, I'm blessed. Single, or not single, straight, Jesus, sorry babe, Freudian slip, straight white dude, like, things are probably going to work out for me, you know, but like, I love the uncertainty, like, that's part of it for me. I'm like, going like, I might make 10 times more money this year than I made last year, may make less, who knows, but there's not that set thing.
It does feel really exciting, especially I think when you're on the road, like, the travel aspect of it is really exciting, because it's like you can go fucking anywhere and tell jokes. You're not like with a band. You don't, you know, like, you just show up with a microphone, or you don't show up with the microphone, but, you know, like.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love how portable it is. Like, as long as I can get there, I can do it. You know, it's tremendous. And the travel is like, I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, I'm looking at our tour schedule, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to get back on the road. And then, like, I start remembering, I go, you're going to learn to hate this part again. Because, like, eventually, like, everything does turn into a job. But like, the city is great, the club is great, all that, but it's just like the planes in between that and the rental cars. But I mean, whatever, occupational hazard, you know, not seeing your family, that sucks. But again, like, I chose this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, well, they could come to a show and see you
sometimes
there. Yeah. At what point did your parents, like, accept that this is going to be, that this is it? Was there like a thing you booked or a milestone you hit or something that made them, like, feel that you were okay?
I mean, honestly, it was just.
Or do they?
No, they do now. They still worry about me because there's still the uncertainty. Because I'm one of those type, I've had to have this explained to me by my mom. She's like, do you realize all the stuff that you're complaining about right now? If we backed up 5 years and I told you, hey, one day this will be your life, you would go, oh, if I get to that, I'll never worry again. Like, that would be, that's fine. As long as I'm there, I'll never be mad about anything. I can live there. And she's like, you would totally do that, but now you've got that, so you've got to get the next thing. I'm like, shit, you're right. They worry about my brain in that sense, but I think they're definitely like, wow, because like, I've been been doing stand-up for 17 years, but I've been full-time. It's been on my taxes for 5.5. Got it, and it is, and I think about that all the time. Like, 'cause I heard Chad Daniels say that one time, where he was like, somebody asked him, they go, when do you know that you're a comedian? He's like, when it says it on your taxes. That's my rule. And I was like, shit, I'm not a comedian, you know. And now I think about that, I'm like, on my taxes, that's what it says I do, and it has for a while. But I mean, I will say this is part of that lucky thing I was talking about. I did work hard, I did bust my butt, all that, but like, my buddy Trey Crowder made a video that 25 million people watched, and we had the same manager, and she said she somehow was able to take those views and turn them into ticket sales. We started a comedy tour, and shortly after we got a book deal to write a book.
Incredible. And
the check, I went from living in my parents' guest house, only for a couple months, I was just trying to get back on my feet, to all of a sudden I'm looking at this check for the most money I've still to this day ever seen, like, one just for me. And ever since then, it's just been go. And I think then they were like, oh, wow, then we're on The View promoting this. Whoopi Goldberg's talking about how she loves this book. And then I think they were like, with Corey, it was always, once he gets the chance, he'll then know what he's doing, and he'll know how to maintain it. It was just getting him through that door. And I've always felt that way about myself, too. I was like, man, if I could just figure out how to make it. I'll know how to maintain it, but I don't know how to get that first thing. And it's so frustrating because like when you're a broke comedian, you can't sometimes go, because I was still working a bunch of weird random jobs, but once I got the amount of money and the touring to where like, dude, you literally can just focus on comedy now. I've been fine because I was able to just so like again, I gotta tell you, luck, my God, it was like if Trey doesn't make that video, maybe none of this has happened. Now maybe maybe I would have ended up being fine. Who knows? But I don't live in that world. I live in the world where Trey made this video, and luckily we had all been comedians before, because if none of us had really done stand-up, they would have set up that tour, we would have gone on it, we would have bombed, and nobody would have came back to the second show. You know what I mean? But we set up this tour, and 5.5 years later, we're about to go back out, and shows are already selling out again, and it's just like, it's just luck met hard work. But neither one of them on their own, I don't think it would have worked with.
Yeah, that's the thing, that there's so many, you never know where an opportunity is going to come from. You know, I feel like if you had to guess before all that happened, if somebody was like, do you think it would be, you know, meeting this manager or a random video or some other thing, you would never know that the video is the thing that's going to take off and launch you. You know,
Never.
It's so fucking weird, but like you said, like you just have to be prepared for it, because if you're not prepared, then the preparation is what makes the overnight success. Otherwise,
for sure.
Otherwise, it just, the opportunity fades away, and they're like, well, they're not ready.
I've thought about that a lot too. Like, I'm actually so thankful that it happened when it did, when I was 28 and I'd been doing stand-up for a while, as opposed to like if something like that had happened to me at 22. Me and you wouldn't be having this conversation, but that could be for a myriad of reasons. Number one, I would have just crashed and burned because I didn't have enough material to sustain a tour. Or number two, I'd be dead because I wouldn't, at 22, I wouldn't have been able to handle all the cool things that happened to me. If you'd have handed me that same check at 22 that I got at 28, holy shit, I'd still be living on the boat that I bought. You know what I mean? But it wouldn't be on the water because it wouldn't work. I'd just be in somebody's backyard on a boat with a window unit hooked up to it. Like, it would have been bad. Like, I'm so lucky that
amazing.
Yeah, but it's
Living
true. I'm
on a
just
boat
so
doesn't sound so terrible though.
Yeah, but if it's docked, you know what I mean? Like, but like, so, like my failures really, really helped inevitably my success. Like, and I'm not a spiritual dude even at all. I don't think it was like the Lord knew that you didn't need to succeed then. I just think it's a great coincidence and luck that like by the time we started making it, I was not married, but in a relationship and had somebody to anchor myself to. Cause single too, that wouldn't have worked. I wouldn't have been able to do that first tour single because I would have missed a lot of shows. I just would have missed them.
Really?
I'd have missed them. Yeah. There'd been somebody super hot in one of them towns that I'd have been like, I'm gonna stay with her, guys. Don't worry about it. And I'd have slept through the plane. You know what I mean? But I know me. I know exactly how I roll. I'd have done that. And
that's hilarious.
So like all these factors, like being in a relationship, having done stand up so much that you know to expect to be disappointed and don't get ahead of yourself and don't spend money you don't have, all that stuff combined, really, it's just like you cannot. I can't speak highly enough about luck, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm glad that you've had all that luck.
Me too.
How did the book deal come about? Is this something that you had aspirations of doing, or? I
mean, always. Like,
did it just seem like the opportunity was there?
So here's how it worked. Like, yes, in my very, very egotistical mind, I always was like, I'm gonna write a book one day because I like writing and stuff like that. But here's how it happened. Trey got this. We set up this tour based on Trey's video, and then because of his popularity, people just started like deep diving him. And me and him had a year before any of this. Me and him were super, and still are. We're Anglophiles, and we were super, super, super into Downton Abbey. Like, that was our favorite show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, the final season was about to happen, and so me and Trey, who are doing comedy in 100% complete obscurity at this point, I don't know who we thought was going to read this blog. I have no idea who we thought was going to read this blog. But we decided that we wanted to do a blog that was a show review of each of the final episodes of Downton Abbey. And we were also going to have this coincide with a weight loss competition that we were doing amongst each other. And so the blog was called Downton Flabby. So each week, we would do our show review of like a redneck's perspective on what happened at, in Downton Abbey this week. And then below that was a weight loss review. Here's how I did this week, blah, 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 blah. And then the other person would write theirs and we would talk shit about each other, like in our reviews and we did that for the whole series. And it actually did, surprisingly, even though we weren't popular comedians, we had a lot of readers, I guess, just that saw it when, what is this? Two rednecks talking about Downton Abbey? Well, flash forward, Trey's got a lot of heat on him. And Simon & Schuster find this blog and realize, like, oh, this dude who's super popular on the internet can also write and is funny. And like being a liberal redneck and being a redneck who likes Downton Abbey, those are kind of similar. It's the juxtaposition thing here. And these people are really, really good at that juxtaposition. And so they were like, let's, what do y'all got? What's your idea for a book? And so me, him, and Drew sat down, and basically it was just like, it felt like our whole life had been leading up to this. We're like, we can write a book that explains our point of view of the South. Nobody's ever really asked us. Like, what everybody thinks that everybody in the South believes, like, you have to have a gun, and you got to take it to your daughter's prom, and where everybody's bobbing for corn, and blah, 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 like that's what everybody thinks. And all those things are all those things are well, fine, and dandy, but like there's also people like me who exist who were like, hey, it'd be cool if people that were gay felt comfortable coming to this prom with their boyfriend, but they don't because the dude with the gun I was talking about. And so we were like, we broke down this book into like 12 chapters of like, here's poverty in this. Let's break down poverty in the South, food in the South. Where'd that come from? Oh my God, we're going to educate people on the fact that we owe slaves for macaroni and cheese. Like, we want to tell that story. And we pitched it, and they were just like, this is it. And we're like, oh shit. And they were like, all right, you got 6 weeks to write it. And we're like, motherfucker,
6
what?
weeks?
6 weeks. Because they wanted it to,
I've never heard of that in my life.
Because it's not a real thing. They wanted it to come out. This is July. We're talking. They want us to get it turned in July. We were on the road, by the way, while we were doing this. But the only reason is they desperately wanted the book to come out before the election because Trump, this guy named Donald Trump, was running for president, and they're like,
my God, yeah.
So,
and they thought you guys could stop that.
Well, not. I won't give them that much credit.
They're like, we're counting on you.
I think they thought that this will make it sell more, because it's everybody right now is looking at the South as like Donald Trump's going to win the election just because of the South. And we were just like, if we could just explain to them, I mean, that may still happen, but if we could just explain to them that there are good people in the South, that'd be nice. And so we wrote it in 6 weeks. While we were on the road, I've got so many pictures of Trey passed out, like, on his hotel bed with his laptop on his chest because we'd just done a show and we had to come in and get these chapters in. And I was freaking out about it, but my dad told me something that kind of changed my perspective on it, which was, son, if they gave you a year, you would have waited till the last 6 weeks. He's like, I know. True. He's like, I know you. He goes, so just, you don't have that luxury, so just get it done. And again, we could never do that again, but the thing is that that would never be asked of us again because that's crazy. That's an insane, like... At first, we were just like, holy shit, this is how it is in the big leagues. And then we started talking to the book agents. They were like, no, like nobody, this isn't
like
a thing.
2 years.
Yeah, this isn't a thing. It's just that y'all have kind of a prescient thing going on right now. But like I said, luckily, luck falls into this. All the things that we were writing about, this had been... all these ideas we'd already had in our head. It was just a matter of getting them on the page. Like, we weren't having to reinvent something. It was just a matter of, here's how I feel about this. How do we structure this into this book? And then we had obviously a tremendous editor. Like that's really like, hey, take all this dumb bullshit, take out the dumbest bullshit.
Because the turnaround for your editor at that point is like, what, 10 hours?
Unbelievable. That's what it's unbelievable how we got the thing done. Like, in hindsight, I cannot believe it. Because again, I can't stress this enough. We were also on a absolutely whirlwind coast to coast tour the entire time. Like the whole, I think I wrote one chapter at my house, and it was like, that was weird. Like, it was wild that happened. It was mostly like in hotels, So for good or bad, I mean, it did well.
Do you think maybe that helped feed the book? Because like if you're on the road and you're doing gigs in the South, you're getting, I mean, not that you're unfamiliar with the South anyway, but
right.
You're just really immersed in different neighborhoods and things.
I think it helped a little bit. I think it look, you got 6 weeks, you got to do it. And I've never wanted to put out anything bad in my life. And I was very terrified. And I was just like, oh my God, so many people are going to read this. But like, again, now if you said, hey, I need a whole book in 6 weeks, I'd be like, there is no, literally no way. But with that one, it was just like putting out your first, like a singer-songwriter putting out their first album. You've had your whole life to write all these songs. You know,
absolutely.
the second one will be the thing that's the hardest because now you have 10 months to do this one. But like, it was just one of those things where like our whole life was leading to that moment. We knew what we wanted to say, and it was just like vomiting it on the page and then figuring out what to take out. But it was a unique. That first year, that's the craziest shit. I mean, I don't know how we survived. Like I know we all gained like 40 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, you do that on tour anyway. Not
For
you.
sure.
I'm saying like people.
No, I do.
It's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like half the time you're like, well, I need a healthy snack. What can I get at 7-Eleven?
Yep, exactly.
Forget it. I'm also curious, since we're both from like rednecky areas. I mean, like my parents owned a biker bar when I was growing up.
Hell yeah.
It's still, my family still has it. I feel, and I'm wondering if you feel similarly, like I feel a responsibility to both communicate to my friends back home that like, hey, gay people and Muslim people aren't scary, you know, but then also at the same time to defend the people I grew up with, because I think there's a lot of people in New York and LA that are like, the middle of the country doesn't matter, fuck them, they're all ignorant. And I'm like, no, they're families with hopes and dreams and things too, and they just live more simply. And like, not to say there's no like ignorance, because there certainly is, but it's like, it's not, I don't want to give up on them, you know?
I mean, you nailed it. And that's like my mission statement. And unfortunately, there's so many people where I'm from that they only see the times when I'm saying, hey guys, let gay people come to your party. You know, and they're like, they take that as, you're shitting on your hometown. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm shitting on that idea. And some people in my hometown subscribe to that idea, and I don't like it. But the amount of time I spend defending where I'm from is insane. Like, we get asked sometimes, like, how does your show differ between, let's say, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Portland, Oregon? And a lot of people have this misconception. They're like, you tour in the South? How? I'm like, our best shows are in the South. Without a doubt. Our best shows, our most populated shows. We sold out the Variety Playhouse in Atlanta in like 24 hours the other day. Like, we love the South. That's where I'm from, you know?
Yeah.
But like, so in the South, probably we'll lean into more, I'll probably talk more about how coastal elites feel this way about us and yada, 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 yada. But hey, actually, I'll probably make fun of the South more in the South because I feel like I can, and that's more ballsy. And then when I do Portland, I go, you know, here's what you guys need to understand, and you need to really shut up about. We're people too, and blah 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 blah. So like, I do defend where I'm from because clearly I love it. I live here, and I mean, I try to be the person that's like, listen to my accent. I'm proof that everybody from there ain't a certain way and that there's nuance and everything. But like, of course, I've made jokes at my hometown's expense. It's a Civil War town, for Christ's sakes. And also, I grew up here. I've got a lot of ammo. You know, I know it.
Absolutely.
But I love my hometown. I love my friends, and I spend. Again, they never see that. They never see the part when I'm defending it. They only see the part when I'm like, my hometown is so racist. How racist is it? You know, like they only, that's the only time they see it. But they don't listen for the joke afterwards where I'm just like, but, you know, the Rodney King thing happened in California. You know, like they tune out already. Yeah.
I think that, like, back to what you were saying earlier, like, not everybody is like this psycho that's like, I gotta watch my daughter go to prom with a gun or whatever, however you phrased it better. But it's like, those people are the loudest. And of course, like, because they're so outrageous, that's who people put on blast. We're not showcasing all the normal people that are there, you know? And like, I think also sometimes it can, like, it doesn't always feel good to talk shit about your hometown outside of your hometown, because sometimes people join in and it's like, it feels like when an outsider talks shit about your family, and you're like, no, I can say that, but you can't. It's my family, you know?
I can't remember which joke it was, but I remember Drew just straight up stopped doing a joke unless he was in the South, and it was getting huge laughs everywhere. But he was like, I remember he came back in the green room one time. He's like, I'm not doing that joke anymore. I was like, killed. He goes, yeah, but if you'd have been out there, I could tell what kind of laugh it was. I didn't like that laugh. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you can tell the difference between I'm laughing because that's really good and I relate to it, and I'm laughing because that's ridiculous. I'm laughing at you, not with you. He's like, I just didn't like it. He's like, they were laughing at the setup, and the setup's not funny. You know what I mean? They knew, though, that, hey, it's time to shit on rednecks. Let's start laughing. He's like, if we were in North Carolina, they would have waited till the punchline. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't like that laugh. And I was like, I hear you. And there's been a couple times where I felt the same way. Like, I would start into something, and I'm like, everybody here is laughing, but I don't know if they realize that I'm trying to defend this. I think they think I'm just, like, poking fun at it. Like, I think they think I'm going full Larry the Cable Guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, it's a very, I don't know. It's like that Groucho Marx. Like, I just don't. Anybody who would have me as a member in their club, I don't want to be involved in it. Like, I feel like these y'all don't get to laugh at that. Go fuck yourself. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird. We all have huge chips on our shoulder, and it's inarguably made us the comedians that we are. But still, like, I'm with you. Sometimes I don't want to make fun of my hometown when I'm in Sacramento, because, like, they don't get it. They don't get why I'm making fun of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Because there's nothing to relate to, which is fine.
Yeah,
it's a fucking different life.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it is interesting also as you go through your comedy career and you get better and you can hear what the laugh is at. You know, I know people like can't wrap their mind around Dave Chappelle walking away from Chappelle's show, but he was like, I felt like they were laughing at me and not with me. And I'm like, yeah, that's the whole thing. Because, like, I can't imagine doing that show and having to get approval from, like, all these, I'm assuming mostly white execs at the time. For sure. At least, you know, and it's like, that's, you know, if people can't relate to you and they're like, yeah, do more of this one specific thing, and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good.
Also, everybody acted like that $50 million that Dave turned down was going to be the only money in the world that he had. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he already had $50 million. Right? He'd made a lot of money. And what's the point of having a shit ton of money if you can't use that money as an excuse to go, well, fuck this, I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole point of having money in the first place.
Like, in my brain, I'm like, I just want to do so well that I can be like, I'll do Buffalo, but not in December when you want me there. You know what I mean? Like, I can choose. I'm doing well enough to choose to go in the springtime, but, like, if you're somebody that's got millions and millions of dollars and you don't like what you're doing, like, it's not stupid to walk away from that. I'm not saying go so far as to, like, throw your cell phone in the lake and move to Africa. But if that's what you want to do, then go ahead, you know. But, like, to me, the craziest part was never the amount of money he turned down, because I was like, yeah, he's already got a lot. Well, how much more do you need?
Yeah.
Like, how much more money do you need?
And once you have that much money, you just put it in the bank and you make interest, you know, and then you never have to fucking work again forever.
Forever. And you can do the stuff that you want to do, which we're currently seeing Dave Chappelle do.
Yeah, absolutely. One last question. If young Corey could meet you now, like 11-year-old, 8-year-old Corey, if he met you, what do you think he would think?
This is what this is? I think there would be a little bit of that. Like, first off, if you take away all the, like, he would be blown away by the fact that I was able to be a successful comedian for a year and a half without going on the road. Like, without actually getting on a stage. Like, he wouldn't be able to understand what Skype and Zoom shows and, like, podcasts and stuff. But aside from all that, yeah, I think that at first he would be like, hold on, you've been doing it for how long? And you're not on Saturday Night Live, and you're not as famous as Adam Sandler, and you're not and also, where'd your hair go? And yada, yada, yada. Where's the flying cars that we were promised? But after all that, and after I explained to him what all was going on, I do think that he would be like, okay, so we were right. Do whatever the fuck you want, and success will follow. And I'd be like, okay, yes, but there was a lot more. It was a lot more complicated than that. But no, I got you. Do whatever the fuck you want, and success will follow. And then my 11-year-old self would have gone out to the woods with a Playboy he stole.
Yeah. It's almost like it's so good that when you're a kid, you don't know that things are gonna work out, because it's like, I would have fucked off way more. I wouldn't have been such a good student. I would have been like, oh, if I'm just gonna do comedy, then what am I doing with this brain? Who cares?
That's so true.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so great to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be talked to.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks so much for listening. Once again, that was Corey Ryan Forrester. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Corey R. Forrester. And I'm Lisa Curry. You can find me on Twitter at Lisa_Curry. And on Instagram at Olympian Lisa Curry. As usual, if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, leave a nice little comment. Also, head on over to my website, lisacurry.net, because I'm going on the road starting July 30th. I'll be with Jim Jeffries at the Mirage in Las Vegas. So get tickets for that if they're still available, if you want to see me there. I've got some dates by myself as well, like through the summer and fall. So pop on over to my website, check it out. Hopefully I'm in a city near you, and catch you next week. Bye.